What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady and the Chef, joined by my co-host today.
D-Block21, what's up? What it do?
It's the last Friday of the new year. Tonight's Friday Night Knicks. The Knicks play their second game of their road trip this evening against the Orlando Magic. So the Knicks are looking for a win tonight. They actually play a back-to-back because they play tomorrow against the Orlando Magic. They play tomorrow against Indiana. I thought we had an echo. They played tomorrow against Indiana. The Knicks did play OKC the other day, and the Knicks did not win that game. I know some fans had the Knicks not winning that game against OKC, and some fans thought the Knicks were going to beat OKC. For me personally, I didn't really see it happening just because OKC has a lot more, I don't know, I want to say firepower between SGA, Chet, and then Jalen Williams was just going off against the Knicks, and the Knicks had no answer for him. But some of the things that I did notice with that game was the defense wasn't that great. And I know some people may look at it like, oh, well, the Knicks only lost by 9. It doesn't matter. They lost. I don't care if they lost by a point. You lost the game. And part of that was because it was bad defense. The other part of that also was coaching decisions. I also put some of the blame on Tibbs. And then I just thought, there's some other things I want to trickle into and break down as far as the rotation that we have, the decision making and why Tibbs is doing what he's doing and playing who he's playing. And it's hard to break that down because Tibbs gives those same generic answers in the postseason. And he tried to break down why he made the decision at the end of the game with not keeping Quickly in and bringing in RJ Barrett. And part of that, he explained, was he brought in RJ for height. And he explained that he did this against the Milwaukee game on Christmas Day. He made the same substitution and brought RJ in. My thing is, the difference is, A, you won that game against Milwaukee. B, RJ played a better game. But also, and I brought this up to you in the last podcast, RJ played a better first half against Milwaukee. He had 20 points or 22 points. And in the second half, he was quiet. But against OKC, RJ just wasn't that good.
Yeah.
He gave us 14 points, and it just didn't look good all across the board. I just thought it was just horrible. The Knicks lost 120-129. First quarter, the Knicks dropped 25. OKC scored 38. Second quarter, Knicks dropped 35. OKC 31. Third quarter, the Knicks dropped 29. OKC 24. And fourth quarter, the Knicks dropped 31 points. OKC had 36. Julius Randle played 36 minutes. He finished with 25 points, 9 rebounds. RJ played 30 minutes. He had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Isaiah Hartenstein played 37 minutes. He finished with 9 rebounds, 4 points, and 2 assists. Jalen Brunson played 37 minutes as well. He finished with 24 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Dante DiVincenzo, 20 points, 17 points, 2 rebounds. Josh Hart played 34 minutes, had 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 points. IQ, 25 minutes and had 22 points, 2 assists. And Quentin Grimes and Taj Gibson played around the same minutes, with Quentin Grimes a minute more at 11 minutes, Taj at 10. Taj finished with 4 points. Quentin Grimes finished with 6 points, 3 rebounds. But Emmanuel Quickley's minutes are definitely lower than what he was playing last year. So his minutes are down, but his points are up. And I did want to read off, because I wrote some things down. This season, IQ is logging 13.1 points per game, 2.6 rebounds, and 23.9 minutes. He's third on the team behind Randle and Brunson in points. He's also ahead of RJ Barrett. He's the third best three-point shooter on the Knicks. And within per 100 possessions this season, he's averaging 31.2 points per game. So I guess my question to you is just going off of that OKC games and all the previous games, and we'll dive deeper a little bit more into the OKC game. But just again, the OKC game and seeing how he played, and just the previous games prior to that. And I think we kind of touched on this the last episode was should IQ be starting and RJ come off the bench?
Um, well, if he don't start, I mean, I still like him off the bench. However, I feel he should get more playing minutes. When he's on the floor, he's the Knicks are a better team
Mm-hmm.
when he's playing. With that with the rotation of Hard, um, Brunson, I think it was I can't remember, but he maybe he needs to get more of RJ's minutes because RJ is struggling mightily. Like you said, his in the previous, he was 14 points. He was 1 for 7 for field goals. He had 5 turnovers, although Brunson had 5 too, but Brunson did score. So
Right.
RJ, is struggling. I think perhaps he needs to get some quickly needs to get some of those minutes that's being dished out to RJ. Um, I mean, because I still like him off the bench because he brings that spark. And I think we need that. We fair enough. We traded, Dante, which that was a much better decision. But I like him coming off the bench, me personally, because of what he brings when he comes in.
But wouldn't you rather have that production immediately in the start versus, or do you think Emmanuel, because Emmanuel quickly wants to start, or do you think that it's better having RJ come in and then Emmanuel quickly adjust to the game? But don't you think that quickly to you, do you think that quickly would be better starting and bring that energy in and I mean, well, yeah, you still have Dante DiVincenzo starting, but have RJ come in on the second unit with Josh Hart and whoever else.
No, you know why quickly won't start because Tibbs, he's a player's type of, if he likes you, you're going to be in that rotation. And as Tibbs always say, he the reason why I substitute for the sides and the length. So I think that's why Tibbs won't bench RJ for whatever reason, because he likes that first unit and what they can bring, starting off with the size and the length against, bigger, opponents and stronger players. So I don't see him even starting IQ.
But do you
I
but do you blame Tibbs in that regard? Because why are you concerned about size and length versus a guy who's bringing you productivity and the points that you need? And he's also doing it in less minutes than RJ Barrett, who's been struggling as of late.
well, because for me, IQ makes up for RJ's, lack of. And that's why he could bring you and give you those points that RJ should have scored, and that's why the Knicks are always, are able to stay in it because of what he brings when he does come in. And there's in OKC they were tied at one point, and another point they were down by one. Because quickly of what he brings when he does come in. So I think he lacks for RJ's production. So quickly brings that when he does come in. For me, I don't see yeah, that's a Tibbs problem, but
Hmm.
that's his decision. And like someone said, he 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 sort of for his deficiencies he makes excuses, and but that's his decision.
I think that quickly should be playing more minutes.
Oh, for sure.
I think that the Knicks' decision making to play quickly less minutes is really disturbing to me because I'm wondering why it's quickly one is proving my point of, and to some degree, I would say Dante DiVincenzo as well, that they're able to score a nice amount of points. 17, they're able to give you 17 to 20 points in less minutes. And Emmanuel quickly somehow has been way more consistent this season compared to RJ Barrett, who's been very streaky and we don't know what we're going to get from him. Now, some people may argue RJ comes through in the bigger games or later in the season. RJ tends to come through for the Knicks when other guys are struggling. And, that is true to some degree, but I think the regular season also counts. I was just saying to you how the Knicks have to be careful with these next few games as we starting to get deeper into the season because I believe now the Knicks are sitting at either 7th or 8th, just that fast,
7th, yeah.
in the blink of an eye.
They're
Miami
here.
shot up. Orlando lost their 4th seed spot. And I don't think people should go, oh, but it's still early. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're 3/4. Yeah, we're third. Yeah, and we gotta stop saying, oh, there's a lot of games to be played. No,
Right.
these games need to be won and at a rapid pace. Like I said, they need to stack some wins more than losses. Because the deeper you go into the season, like if you're exposed now, which teams are exposing them, um, it's just gonna get deeper and deeper. And teams are they were exposed like really bad with OKC. You
Yeah.
know, they double, Brunson and double and tripling him and Randall. These guys, they gotta cut like
Yeah.
come up and help. If you see, they're being double and triple teamed, then where's the help, on for the other guys? So it's just only going to get worse as it progress. OKC exposed them. It's not the first time that they were exposed. You know,
Yeah. I think that's the problem too with the Knicks offensively. When Randall or Brunson has the ball, everyone is standing around. They're standing around waiting for the ball to come to them to then make a move to make some act to take action. And when you stand around, teams are going to pick apart your offense because one, you're allowing the defense to catch their breath because all they have to do is just stand next to you. They don't even have to run around and work. But when you see things like that and guys are not cutting, is that the players or is that the coaching? Does that fall on Tibbs?
well, a little bit of both because that's a play that was designed, but as a, by the coach, but as a player, go and help. you know,
Exactly.
and OKC, high case in point, like they're purposely it's like they seem like they left RJ open because they knew he was off,
Yeah.
and RJ, this is where he has to step up, but he fails, and he on a night in night out basis he fails to step up and deliver. We get a good game, but to me, that's both a coach and a player. Like if he's being double and triple team, where's the help at? You know. So
But
that's
see,
that's
my thing is, do RJ and Brunson have the help?
you mean
You know,
Brunson and
excuse me,
Randall.
Brunson and Randall, do they have the help? Because that's what I think is the problem. It also exposes the Knicks as like, if I'm an opposing team in the league, I'm like maybe they may get lucky and RJ may have a hot hand tonight, so we may have to guard him. But otherwise, I'm looking and I'm like, they only got two guys who's a threat. And one of them could be off, and the other guys don't really, like I said, they're just standing around. Even if they are moving around, they're not a threat. Because Dante DiVincenzo, some games you don't know what he's going to give you. The only guy who I would say you have to watch out for is Emmanuel Quickly, but I guess you're right in what you're saying in that the Knicks really don't care for Quickly because if you did, you would have made space for him on a team. And how could he get more minutes when you brought in Dante DiVincenzo? You have RJ, who is in his 5th year, and he's been a big disappointment. There's been no big, huge leap from him. But if I'm an opposing team playing against the Knicks, I'm looking at them like, yo, these guys, we could take them because all they really have is JB and they have Julius.
Yeah,
We
for
know
the
what
most part.
they're gonna go to work, but Josh Hart signed him way too soon and gave him that money way too soon. And I think the Knicks did that because they looked at what they saw last season with Josh Hart and said, okay, yeah, we're gonna get. I don't understand that, and I don't know if that was also a way of being like, see, Quickly, you should have just took the offer we gave you. So instead, we're gonna give Josh Hart some money.
No, but that's why the Knicks lowball Quickly because they had no plans of signing him. To be honest with you,
But I don't
like I
understand
said, I
that.
think it's something in the front office that they have something brewing. And case in point, it could be a Murray, or someone of the like-minded like him. So again, I think he's going to be used. The chat is just man, they go with it, Grimes and
Yeah.
RJ too. I think he's going to be used as a trade package. Sad to see him go because he does have great potential. There is a lot of upsides to his game, but as fans, we have no control over that. What goes on. But T- Tibbs, that he just made such a that was an awful move he made
I didn't
with
understand
pulling
it.
quickly. And that could have been the difference in the side and the deciding factor of the game. To be
Right.
honest with you, because whether you lost by 1 or 9, that could have made the difference. Um, and and that's what and also that's what I alluded to. Like we don't have that three-headed monster like Jalen Williams, like him, and they both have 36. So
Yeah.
like they have a formidable three, and Chet, Shea, and then Williams, Jalen Williams. So they have that. The Knicks are missing that key piece, and until they get it, I don't know how far they're gonna go.
Jalen Williams and Shea both had 36 points against the Knicks. They combined
Yeah,
for 72 points.
yeah.
Chet Holmgren had 22 points. And it goes back to what you just said. That was 3 guys that got the job done.
Yep.
The Knicks having just 2 guys is not enough. To me, I know people are saying, oh, well, we need another guy. They need to bring in maybe Murray. At one point, we were talking about um, DeRozan coming here. We've been bringing up center options, and people brought up Drummond. I think the common denominator in all of this is that the Knicks need to make some moves and bring somebody here.
You have some help.
Actually, yeah, some help fast. SOS, they need saving quickly. And my thing is, if you are going to part ways with quickly, then just do it. We're wasting time. If you got to get rid of the dead weight, and I keep saying that, but it's true. You got to get rid of Grimes. You got to get rid of Fournier. You got to get rid of Miles McBride. And no, Miles McBride is not considered. I don't see them keeping him around eventually when you become a
Well,
contending.
at this point, you could throw in RJ.
No, and RJ Barrett too. I was gonna
Oh,
name him. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like Miles McBride, no, I don't really see him even if he still was around after they brought in the pieces and made trades. I still don't see the Knicks holding on to him. But RJ Barrett's another one I would get rid of.
yeah.
To me, they should have never given Josh Hart that contract money. He's another one I would let go of because he's not producing energy wise and doing those other intangibles. And I know someone has said that in the chat. They said, "Oh, but Josh Hart is, he still is doing the other intangibles that's not showing up on the stats." Yeah, sometimes. And I think the problem with the guys outside of Randall and Brunson is the lack of consistency. Everyone else is very, very streaky. Call it what it is, because even if Jalen Brunson is off, he's still going to give you about 24, 25 in a night. Same
Yeah,
thing with Randall. So if they could figure it out, what's the excuse for the other guys on the team?
yeah. The Knicks, they don't not only lack consistency, they lack size, depth. I mean, there's a lot that they are deficient in. And they have to, again, till we bring in those key pieces. Then with like Eddie said, the championship drought is going to continue. It's been far too long, and it will continue if the Knicks don't bring in help. Those key pieces. Brunson needs a backcourt mate. We RJ struggling. Ship him out too. He could go too.
But
They
this is why I say, like, what direction is the Knicks organization going in? Are you guys trying to win a championship? Or are you still trying to figure out what pieces go together to the puzzle when you have two main pieces of the puzzle who are in their prime? What are we waiting for? It's been decades, years since the Knicks have won a championship. How much longer do the Knicks fan base have to wait for these guys to be a true contending team who makes not just the first round of the playoffs, not just the second round of the playoffs, but guys who's making it to the finals, who's making it to the Eastern Conference finals and then the finals? A team that as a fan you could feel good about because you're like, wow, this is a solid playing team. Like, imagine if our team was like a OKC or Orlando Magic. You feel confident and a lot better watching the games because you're like, these guys are going to pull through and come through and they're going to win these games. But with the Knicks, you may win one, two, then they lose 3 to 5. Then they go on another little streak and win a few. It's too much inconsistency, and it's because they don't have solid players on this team. And I said it from the beginning, the Knicks they don't have a bench. What bench? No one's coming off the bench producing for the team. Again, so it falls on the same two players' shoulders to have to do all the work and try to get us the win. But if Brunson and Randall don't have that help, and that third and fourth option guy, because you need more than a third option guy. You need a fourth option as well. You need a true solid center who's going to score. Another reason why I go back to questioning with a big fat question mark, why are we just boxing in Hartenstein into a little box? Because I believe coaching staff is telling him, listen, we just want you to go out there and do what Mitch was doing. Because you can't tell me from last season when he was throwing up a floater, you know what I mean? He was doing a little bit more to this season, and now he's just getting you rebounds. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It does. Like, I really wish I had some kind of way of being like behind the scenes, and I could really figure out and just sit in practices and figure out why are these things happening. Enough is
Yeah.
enough. No more hand holding and no more making excuses. And RJ, you gotta go. You haven't lived up to the hype.
Yeah, I mean, because just OKC alone, the Knicks made great adjustments during that Bucks game. They didn't execute, with OKC. They didn't
At
make
all.
those adjustments. Um, there was, the defense. It lacked no defense, quite frankly. So that's how you wonder, like, what's Tibbs' mindset? I mean, during the Bucks game, they made great adjustments as far as the coverage and guarding the perimeter, making them take the tough shots. So what changed with OKC? And I know they're a great team. They're young, energetic.
Right.
You know, Shea's the oldest, starting member of the five, and I get it. But the Knicks have youth as well. So it's like, what is Tibbs' mindset?
Exactly.
when you playing these other opponents, you know, it just makes you wonder, you know, I don't know with Tibbs, and it's frustrating because they are a better team, or they can be a better team than where they're at. So it's just so frustrating to watch, the Knicks, and when they down, and just that there's no help defense, and when his rotation and his subs, it's just very frustrating, for as a fan.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's something about these New York teams between the Knicks, the Jets, the Giants, the Yankees, the Mets. None of the
Yes.
New York teams could really get it together. It's like it's contagious, and it's like some dark cloud that's here in New York hovering over all the sports teams. A dark cloud.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but you know, I mean, I'm looking at the stats from OKC game. OKC had 10 blocks. New York only had 2. The Knicks had 18
Two
turnovers. They only
turnovers.
had 4 turnovers the entire game.
Yeah.
Now that's how you play. 4 turnovers that's beautiful. 18 is way too many. And I didn't see how many of those 18 converted into points for OKC, but that's
I
another
think it
problem
was.
the Knicks have between free throws and turning the ball over consistently. This is not a middle school team. This is not a high school team. This is not a little side team, a pickup team at the local YMCA. Why are you turning over the ball 18 times?
Yeah.
Like it's just inexcusable, and it's putting a bad taste in my mouth and other fans' mouth. Like enough is enough. I don't understand it.
Salute AJ.
Salute
Salute Eddie.
Aj.
Salute Knicks are nice. Yeah, they yeah, their points. Yeah, it was they I had it down with the stats of what they converted into points. Um, it was atrocious, considering, with the turnovers. Um, and like I said, you could live with one guy beating you, possibly two. Like Eddie said, the Knicks made Jalen Williams look like a superstar. You
Yeah.
know when how he played, he was 5 for 5 on threes. So they didn't guard again. They didn't guard that perimeter, and you know I don't they can't they have a tendency to do that. The Knicks, like, I don't know if they just sleep on guys, or again, is it a coach's thing? With how the game is being played, but it was horrible. I'm at a loss for words for this game, because this is a game that they should have won. Although I did count on them, as I didn't have much faith in them, but in hindsight, they should have, they could have possibly and should have won this. They just didn't make the necessary adjustments with OKC. Um,
But see, I blame I blame Randall and Brunson because when you go in that locker room, I think Jay Boogie was saying this. You can't keep going in that locker room like, yo, good game, man. You got to call guys out. You got to call guys out.
yeah,
You got to like let guys know also in practice. Like, yo, you keep doing that. That's not what we need right now. This is what we need in order to be successful this year. Great players are not afraid to call out other players on their team. That shows leadership.
yeah, for sure.
And I wonder if Randall and Brunson does that to the other players on the team in the locker room or during the halftime or during the timeout. You have to call guys out because I also wonder, does Tibbs call guys out? Like we were talking about this before a few episodes ago. Like we were saying, if Spoelstra was the head coach of the Knicks would be a different team. Spoelstra, let's put aside Miami's way of getting the right players somehow. Miami does a great job bringing in the right pieces. It's another problem with the Knicks. The Knicks, I don't know who's in charge of recruiting and bringing in guys aside from Leon Rose, because it can't just be Leon Rose. The Knicks do a horrible job bringing in good players on the team. Just look, just think off the top of your head the many different teams in the league. And you look around and you know when we're playing those teams and you're like, wow, why couldn't the Knicks get a player like that? And it's not just because they're playing well against the Knicks. You watch them in other games and they're still playing well. It just so happens teams play better against the Knicks because the Knicks don't play any defense. People are talking about Indiana don't play defense. Well, neither do the Knicks. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the way our style of play. The Knicks do not play any defense. And part of that, like I said, I blame both Randall and Brunson because you're not calling out the players on the team. You're
Well,
not asking for more from your teammates
they
and
could
telling
be.
guys to step up. And I also blame Tibbs because how many more games, how many more seasons do we have to keep going through watching the same lackluster defense? Like you said, aren't guys watching film? The effort to me is just not there. The 100% is not there. Sure, you could score points. Well, two of you could score points. Three, because I'll throw IQ in the mix. But that's not the end game of basketball. It's not just about offense. It's also about your defensive strategy. And you'll never get far in basketball if your defense is trash.
Well, um, to what you just said, they could be calling players out. We don't know. Players just aren't that great, i.e. RJ. You know, he's a fifth year player. There's no way he should be this inconsistent. I think Knicks and I said RJ's, has some bunch of injuries. Um, I mean, it's the excuses, like RJ. Then if you're not feeling well, you need to go, sit on the bench and go on the injured list. Then do that because you're doing more harm than that. Could be minutes that could
Exactly.
be doled out to somebody who will give us the production, on on the floor. So and you know he has to do better. And the coach could be, calling him out. And another thing that's hurting them, although Hartenstein, he's grinding, he's playing, his heart out. You know, Mitch, the Knicks are missing him.
Yeah.
Prior to him, going out, they allow, right now they're allowing like close to 129 points, for a team, in Mitch's absence, and that's what since that 9 games. I don't know how long he's been out, but prior to that, they were only allowing like 100 and 9 points a game, in the first 21 games that Mitch plays. So you see where that deficiencies is lacking as far as like the bigs and just what he did for the Knicks. So a part of that could be, they're missing that again. Kudos to Hartenstein, but they're missing like that big presence there.
That
So
defensive threat.
that
Yeah.
yeah, that could be, one of the reasons of the lack of just the scoring and just the stops that they're not getting, the second chance points. So all that factors into their struggles for the most part.
But I think even if we had Mitch, the defense would still be it would be bad. Mitch was in his own prime of what he can do defensively, which he did great. But a lot of times, and I would watch and I'm like, now look at Mitch got to do double work because guys are letting their man slip past them. Guys can't play one-on-one defense. The Knicks are just, the defense is atrocious. It's horrible. It cannot continue like this, because even if you bring in the help, if the Knicks go ahead and make their trade moves, because Tibbs is not going to take a risk. He's not a risk taker. He's not going to want to switch up the lineup for whatever reasonings. And I heard your reasonings with RJ. It's still silly to me. Sometimes you have to be willing to gamble and say, well, let me try to bring quickly and start him and bring RJ off the bench. But then again, it's true, like what you said, we just don't have the talent there
No,
with
they
that high level of skill set like Randall and Brunson gives you. It's just unfortunate to watch. Eddie asks, do we have a defensive coach on our staff?
that's a good question.
I mean, seriously, like there's a lot of missing holes that I think a lot of us fans want to know as far as the Knicks.
Well, who's doing the scouting? So that's a question to be asked. Who's doing the scouting for prior games or team? Because if you did that, then you would know, because other teams seem to have figured out that the Knicks, so the Knicks haven't figured out other teams, because
Right.
you would know. Well, and again, Shea, he's the type of player. Some players are just gonna score. Because they're that type of player. They're gonna score regardless. But Jalen Williams, who knew? You know,
Right. Right.
so
I did read an article by the New York Post. Randall said he was complaining about the lack of foul calls. He did go, this was a season high. He shot 13 free throws for Randall. Um, he said he had a respectful conversation with the referees, and he just felt like there was no consistency on the calls. He said it was just a little frustration with the consistency with the calls, but like I said, I got 13 free throws, so it's hard to really complain. They're not going to get everyone right. They're not perfect. Those are little things that happen in the game, and you just got to move on and keep playing. They'll get more right than they get wrong. But part of the complaint I think a lot of fans have was Randall complained to the ref on one of those calls. And Randall hasn't done it a lot this season. I very rarely have seen him do that, stop and have a full blown sidebar conversation in the middle of a game, because he thought that was okay. And I used to be like, is this professional sports? Or is this a pickup game at the local gym? He used to stand there
yeah,
on the side in the middle of a game. Like, go ahead, y'all keep playing. I'm gonna chop it up with the ref real quick, and I'm gonna see why he missed that last call. My man, wait till the timeout to do that. He used to, like, seriously just do. I couldn't. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, there's players that used to sit there and bitch about calls and complain. Now this season, I don't know, the woo-saw, he worked on that. I guess the meditating, he hasn't been doing that. That was the first time I really seen him do that this season. Whereas
yeah.
last season and the season before last, he had a bad habit of doing that crap
Mm-hmm.
and pulling over and pooping and hollering, the hands flaring. He's complaining to the ref, and the other four guys is trying to run, trying to get the ball, whatever. But he did that in the OKC game and then didn't get back on defense.
Yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
That's not leadership behavior. Chop it up in the next time out and step to the side and talk to the ref.
I,
And as a leader, you have to do like what those really great players do, like a Tatum, like a SGA. When they take that ball and I'm going to get us back into this game, take it out on the floor, not on a ref. I don't understand that. What are you taking it out on the ref for? Take it out on the floor and execute your game so we can win the game. I didn't like that.
but what he also alluded to, he said he didn't get the call, and that same call SGA had got. And like he said, they're not gonna get all the calls. They're gonna get more right than wrong. So it could
Mhm.
have been just a part of just the frustration factor of why he had to talk and why he didn't run down. I'm not making excuses, but that could be one of the reasons. Like he said, the same similar call, if not the exact. He didn't get the call and SGA got it. So it could have been just like a frustration factor, and they were doubling and tripling him. And again, there was no help, no cutting. So again, all that builds up, and it can cause frustration. I mean, there's some players that are able to, like you said, take it. Hey, roll with it and let it show on the floor. Like execute your game and just play. But and some players aren't able to do that.
Right. Jalen Brunson said he believes the Knicks defensively still have a lot of room for improvement, but definitely better than we were 2 weeks ago. If you say so, buddy. I like
Yeah,
him, so but I don't agree with that. The Knicks have allowed 122.8 points per game, um, going 5-4 in the last 9 games since Mitchell Robinson's injury back in December 8th. And their first 21 games, they allowed 108.
yeah. That's what I was alluding to. So that's what I was alluding to. Like, in Mitch's, absence, it kind of, that they're missing that presence and what he did for them, offensively and defensively. So, that's something that they're lacking. And like I said, and again, kudos to Hartenstein, but what Mitch did, you know, you miss it, and it makes you wonder, are those things a deciding factor of why they are 5-4 since his absence? There's a lot of whys and questions. If Quickly plays more minutes, boom, can we get more production? So there's a lot of questions, and to be answered.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I did want to read off a few things that Tom Thibodeau said. He said, the thing I thought we did some good things Wednesday. We read the ball pretty well initially, but we didn't finish. We read our switches well. We veered when we shouldn't veered, but we probably held onto it a little bit too long. But the rebounding, you got smalls on bigs. The rebounding was really good. So that part of it, I was very pleased with. The whole idea is to be in a position to win, and that's what you're doing. Then he went on to say, I always think we can do better on both sides of the ball. And that's what we're striving for, is that improvement every day, said Tibbs. The thing is, you got to eliminate all the ways in which you beat yourself first. So you're on the road, you talk about the importance of your defense, your rebounding, and having low turnovers. Those three things put you in a position to win. So I felt like we fell short with not taking care of the ball against the Thunder.
Not what I hate about Tibbs? He don't take accountability.
Nope.
Like, not once did he say, "Yeah, I messed up by subbing." Like, just admit it. He doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't. Now I've seen. I've read where coaches, they voice their displeasure at themselves for their, this is what they did, and and like, case in point, one time it was a Spurs game. Uh,
Pop.
Steve Kerr sat
Oh.
um Kaminga,
Uh-huh.
and he said he should have kept him in. And this is what, like, admit it, own up to it. And Tibbs don't do that. He don't take accountability for his lack of judgment and his lack of coaching thereof. Because just
Yeah.
I should have just said, I should have gone with Quickly, perhaps at least, and not acknowledge that.
Acknowledge it.
He
Yeah.
don't do that.
Mm-mm. Or even be that type of coach to say, we didn't shoot the ball well. We turned over the ball too high. Like, say those things. Because then I'm like, okay, you're realizing that I don't want to hear, yeah, we got to go back and watch the film, and we're trying to aiming to get those wins. Like, I don't want to hear those kind of answers. I'm tired of those like scripted press conference responses that he typically do, and it's just annoying at this point. I'm about done with Tibbs too. At this rate, I'm about done with Tibbs. Like, I'm just so annoyed and frustrated. When I was watching, shout out to Queen on her Thursday night Dope Soul Sports Talk, where she had Jarrell, Jeff, um, who else was on there? Ajay and Jay Boogie. And I mean, the chat was on fire because people was frustrated and annoyed. And I was one of those people. I was watching. I was like, yo, I'm just so annoyed. I think maybe after like 45 minutes, I said, I'm gonna listen to the rest of that word because I was like, yo, I'm done with the Knicks. I'm
Yeah,
done with the lackluster play. I'm done with the lack of effort. And it's not to say I'm one of those fans. I'm like, oh, I ain't rocking with them. I'm still rock with them through the good and the bad, but it's just frustrating when you guys should be winning certain games and beating teams. It's like I don't understand it. Um, but it is what it is.
yeah. Eddie Coffee. Yeah, that's Tibbs' usual script. That is. It's like he has it's embedded in his head. That's his usual script.
Right.
That little press conference he gives.
Right.
Just look at the last one. That's all. But
The Knicks are gonna be playing. Go ahead. You was gonna say
no, no,
something?
no, no. Go ahead.
No, the Knicks are playing the Magic tonight, Friday night Knicks.
Woohoo.
Um, Orlando got bumped out of that fourth spot. They're in fifth. Miami's now sitting in fourth at 19 and 12. Orlando's 18 and 12. Cleveland's at sixth, 18 and 13. The Knicks are at seventh, 17 and 13.
Yeah, we're half game behind, I think, Cleveland, and the whole game behind Orlando. So these are games that this is grounds that they can make up
Mm-hmm.
and go up, and instead of falling back, because this is what you don't want to do. This is what you're trying to avoid.
Right.
Getting that seventh and eighth or hell of playing. This is what you don't want.
Right.
So that's why there's a lot of they have to tighten up, man. That defense is number one. They definitely have to tighten that up.
Yeah, Orlando is definitely a run and gun team. These guys are quick. They're young. They have a lot of energy, like OKC. OKC came
Yep.
out with a lot of energy.
Oh yeah.
Those guys weren't tired. They were ready for the Knicks.
Yep.
Um, and I just think that the Knicks defensively, they have to lock in order to win this game tonight. And you have to guard Paolo because he's gonna do whatever he wants to do, as he always does.
Yep. For sure. Mm.
Um, I think someone is out though for Orlando.
Well, Fultz is out. Um,
Someone
and he
else is
he was
out.
their point guard. Um, him and some Harris, was it? They got a few key, but listen here. Orlando is like a OKC. They
Right.
they they have a group of young. I mean, their roster is made up of young, talented, energetic players. Um, and don't forget, Paolo's the key of Rookie of the Year from last year, so he's riding off of that. They just have a lot of talent, and they're only going to get better as they as they go on. Their depth is pretty solid. Even at their backcourt. Um, although Fultz is out, but Cole, Anthony, he's taken, he's averaging like 14 and a half. So these are things that that the Knicks have to take care and tighten up. You know, so
It's Wagner, the forward. He's out with an injury. So, but it's like you said, you can't. It doesn't matter. Like, you still got to guard guys. They're not gonna let that stop them And Orlando is going to be looking to capitalize on a win as the Knicks, as they lost their last game against the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
So like the Knicks, they lost their last game. They're going to be
Mhm.
looking to win tonight. And I also think it's important that the Knicks capitalize on these next two games of the back-to-back. Because like you said, now you're sitting in seventh. And I've said it and I'm going to continue to keep saying it. You don't want to get in ninth, eighth, ninth, 10th. Now you have to curl your way back. And
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
the, the way this roster is constructed, that's going to be kind of hard for these guys to do. So, I think it's key for these guys to step up and the Knicks need to try to go on a win streak if they can, or at least take these next two games because Monday's game against the Timberwolves is going to be a challenge for the Knicks, a true challenge. But I think these games, including the OKC game and leading up until Monday, these are games to see, are the Knicks capable of beating these better teams in the league? Can the Knicks beat these challengers in the league? We know you could beat Detroit. At this rate, no one's trying to lose to Detroit because it's going to be embarrassing. They're at 28. I think the record is 30 for them, or 32 straight losses. And shout out to Cade Cunningham though, because he's been going off on all of these games. He's averaging like 25 plus a game.
Yeah.
So, but that's frustrating that just to lose all the time. We were once there before. Remember when the Knicks just couldn't win a game?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't buy a win if it was on sale. That's how bad they were. But any thing you're looking for tonight in tonight's game? Any keys for tonight's game or players?
Well, definitely the matchup. Between the fours and the backcourt. Paolo against Randall, France against RJ. So I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup, and just Jalen against Jalen. So that's gonna be an interesting matchup, and I'm assuming it's I don't know if it's Anthony Brown starting or Cole, but that's a matchup to look forward to.
Yeah.
Like Orlando, they're gunning for to make the playoffs. Like you alluded to, they did lose their last 5 out of 7 games, so they need to make up ground. Um, so that's definitely I'm looking forward to that matchup. Um, and just tighten up and definitely with the Knicks, man, you definitely got a defense. It just you got to bring that intensity, tonight. Clean up on your turnovers. Guard that perimeter. They have shooters, like any other team. So, but I'm looking
Right.
forward to the matchup stuff for the most part.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the matchups. I think for me, I'm looking for the Knicks to definitely tighten up defensively. As always, I always preach defense. I want to see
Yeah,
guys lock in on the rebounds. I want to see help on the rebounding. I would like to see the guys be able to catch that one rebound and throw the ball quickly down the other end of the floor. I want to see guys moving without the ball. I don't want to just see staggering offense and guys waiting for the ball to come to them. I want to see guys moving without the ball and to be able to, you know, get to the basket, draw the foul,
mhm.
hit the free throws, limit the turnovers also tonight. I think that's key to limit the amount of turnovers the Knicks have because the turnovers have really been hurting the Knicks as well as, not making enough free throws or getting to the line enough. And I think
Yeah,
it's crucial that the Knicks are aggressive tonight against Orlando. This team is young. They're going to run. They're gunning. And I think it would be nice if the Knicks could get a nice lead and not have this game going back and forth or keep it
hmm,
close. And then offensively, if the Knicks are hot, whoever has the hot hand, keep feeding that guy the ball, and
yeah,
the others just make the right plays and make it make sense tonight on the floor. And I hope that Tibbs doesn't make no silly substitutions like he did the previous game, because I would like to see Emmanuel quickly have a great game. If RJ could step up and have a great game, but I would like to see Dante DiVincenzo and IQ have a really great game and be that supporting help to both Brunson and Randall. And if we can get that energy from Josh Hart, I'll take that as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what this team is gonna do. I want to see the Knicks capitalize on this win and get the win and bring that momentum over to Indiana tomorrow on Saturday.
Yeah, yep, for sure. Same here. I agree.
But yeah, I think that's it for me. Do you have anything else you want to go over or talk about before we get out of here?
No, who's Eddie said, oh no, I read that from the chat. No, what
What?
Eddie said. That's Tibbs' usual script. Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now I'm done. I'm just waiting for the game to start.
Yeah, they should be tipping off in like the next 10 minutes. It's 7:02 now, so maybe like 7:10 the game should be starting. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's it for us. We'll let everybody go watch the game. We're gonna watch the game. And then we'll be back because we'll be reviewing this game and preparing for tomorrow's game against Indiana, which should be another great game. But I just want to thank everybody in the chat this evening for joining us. Eddie, Ajay, Nixon Nice, appreciate you fellas for always coming through and showing love. Those who watch us in a replay game, thank you for watching and tuning into our videos. We appreciate the views. And those who are new, subscribe to our channel. We're tell a friend to tell a friend. We always do pre or post game coverage to Knicks games. And we give our takes raw and real. And we'll be soon having on some guests on the show starting in the new year and bringing other people to the panel to the show. And yeah, there'll be definitely some new things coming throughout the new year for the channel and to spruce up the channel. And yeah, but want to thank everybody for joining us today and tuning in and supporting the channel as always. Anything from you, Diva Locks?
No, you know me. Let's go Knicks.
Exactly. And until next time, everybody, peace.
Peace.